He charged into the darkness of the prison, a solitary purple streak of light, leaving behind the ashes of the old world to forge a future that would eventually ascend into the very heavens. The journey into his life experience was over. The final, apocalyptic crusade for total, unyielding dominance had begun. The fifth arc ended with the sound of the prison gates shattering, a sound that signaled the beginning of the end for the immortal lord and the birth of a legend that would last for eternity. The sky over the northern border had turned the color of a bruised plum, thick with the oily, suffocating scent of demonic qi. Below, the once proud peaks of the Qingyang sword sect were no longer bathed in the golden light of dawn, but shrouded in a creeping obsidian mist. This was the twilight of a legacy. Inside the main hall, the air was cold enough to crack bone. Jiang Qitian, the sect master who had once carried himself with the dignity of a mountain, was now a hollowed-out shell of a man. His eyes, once clear and sharp, were bloodshot and pulsing with a sickly, violet light. He sat on his jade throne, his fingers clawing into the stone until they bled. Beside him stood Qin Fei. The noble Holy Sun facade was gone. Qin Fei's face was twisted into a permanent, sneering mask of malice. His body, long ago ruined by Xiao Yang's monkey-stealing peaches strike, was kept upright only by the dark, forbidden energies of the demon cult. He was no longer a disciple. He was a walking corpse of ambition. "It is time, foster father," Qin Fei whispered, his voice like dry leaves skittering over a grave. "The heaven-devouring demonic art requires a final sacrifice. The spiritual veins of the mountain are ours to consume. With this power, even Xiao Yang will be nothing more than dust beneath your boots." Jiang Qitian looked at him, a flicker of his old self, struggling against the demonic rot. "The disciples, my daughter, they will die if I draw the core of the mountain." Qin Fei leaned in, his breath a foul mist. "What is a daughter compared to immortality? What are disciples compared to the power to kill a god? Xiao Yang is coming, Jiang Qitian. He is coming with the power of Middle-earth. If you do not become a demon today, you will die a dog tomorrow." With a guttural roar, Jiang Qitian succumbed. He plunged his hands into the altar before the throne, his qi turning into black tendrils that reached into the very foundations of the earth. Outside, the disciples screamed as their life force was siphoned away, their bodies shriveling into husks. The scene shifted to the mountain gates. A solitary purple streak of light cut through the demonic clouds, followed by 4 radiating suns of varying colors. Xiao Yang had returned. He stood in the air, his black robes billowing like a storm cloud, the Zixiao immortal sword humming a low, lethal tune on his back. Beside him stood the Saint Queen, her pale skin shimmering with a divine glow, her hand resting protectively over the slight curve of her abdomen. Behind them were Master Feng Xuan, the Heiwan founder, and the Yaoguang saintess. They were not just a harem, they were a pantheon of power. "The stench of rot is even worse than I remembered," Xiao Yang said, his voice carrying through the valley like a clap of thunder. Zhang Ting, who had been hiding in the shadows of the outer court, stumbled out. She was disheveled, her emerald robes torn, her face stained with tears. She looked up at Xiao Yang, at the man she had once treated as a tool, now standing like a deity surrounded by queens. "Senior brother," she wailed, her voice cracking. "Save us, father." "Qin Fei, they've turned into monsters." Xiao Yang didn't even look down at her. His gaze was fixed on the main hall. "You called them father and brother, Jiang Ting. You chose this nest. Now, watch it burn." The Saint Queen stepped forward, her eyes flashing with a possessive, mature fire. She looked at the weeping Jiang Ting with a mixture of pity and cold disdain. She leaned into Xiao Yang's side, her voice a low, melodic chime. "Do not let the cries of a ghost distract you, my love. Let me cleanse this filth for you. My child shouldn't have to breathe this air." Xiao Yang placed a hand on her shoulder, a rare, intimate gesture that made the Saint Queen's breath hitch. "No. This debt is mine to collect. Stay back and keep the others safe." He descended into the hall like a falling star. The doors shattered into a million fragments of wood and stone. Inside, the transformation was complete. Jiang Qitian was no longer human. His skin was a grayish black, and 4 demonic wings of bone and shadow had erupted from his back. Qin Fei stood behind him, laughing maniacally, his true identity as the young master of the demon cult finally fully revealed. "Xiao Yang!" Qin Fei screamed, his voice a cacophony of shadows. "You think you've won? I have waited a lifetime to see you crawl. I will take your women, I will kill your mother, and I will feed your soul to the abyss." Xiao Yang drew the Zixiao immortal sword. The purple light of the blade cut through the demonic mist like a hot knife through wax. "You talk too much for a eunuch, Qin Fei." The battle was a visceral display of absolute dominance. Jiang Qitian lunged, his demonic claws tearing through the air, but Xiao Yang moved with the fluid grace of a master. He didn't just parry, he countered with a brutality that was artistic. Every strike of the Zixiao blade carved chunks of demonic flesh from Jiang Qitian's frame. The sect master's screams were the sounds of a soul being torn apart. Qin Fei tried to intervene, casting shadows that took the form of screaming wraiths. But before they could reach Xiao Yang, a whip of golden light lashed out from the entrance. The Saint Queen had entered the hall, her presence a radiant shield. "You dare interfere in my husband's work!" she hissed, her power flaring until the shadows vaporized. She moved with a mature, regal ferocity, her white silks fluttering as she engaged the demon cult's hidden guardians. The sight of her powerful, pregnant, and utterly lethal was a terrifyingly beautiful contrast to the filth of the hall. Back in the center of the hall, Xiao Yang caught Jiang Qitian's throat in a grip of iron. "You sacrificed your sect for this?" he asked, his voice a chilling whisper. "You sacrificed my mother's life for a throne of mud?" With a surge of purple qi, Xiao Yang didn't just kill Jiang Qitian, he erased him. He forced his qi into the sect master's dantian, causing the demonic energy to implode. Jiang Qitian's body shattered into 1,000 pieces of black ash, leaving nothing behind but the echo of a final, regretful gasp. Qin Fei, seeing his protector fall, turned to flee, but Xiao Yang was already there. He stepped on Qin Fei's chest, pinning the young master to the floor. The physical proximity was heavy with the weight of 2 lifetimes of hatred. Xiao Yang looked down at the man who had murdered him in the snow. "I won't kill you quickly," Xiao Yang said, his eyes twin voids of judgment. He leaned down, the tip of the Zixiao blade resting against Qin Fei's forehead. "I want you to feel the world forget you. I want you to feel the demon cult burn. And then, I want you to die knowing that I have everything you ever wanted, and I didn't even have to try." He didn't use the sword. He reached out and placed a hand on Qin Fei's head. Using a forbidden soul-scouring technique he had learned in the ancient alchemy ruins, he began to strip Qin Fei's memories and cultivation, layer by layer. Qin Fei's screams lasted for hours, a high-pitched, soul-shattering sound that made the very mountain tremble. By the time Xiao Yang was finished, the man who had once dreamed of ruling the heavens was a babbling, empty husk, his eyes vacant and his spirit broken beyond repair. As the sun finally broke through the clouds, the demonic mist began to dissipate. The surviving disciples of the Qingyang sword sect stood in the ruins of their home, looking at the man they had once mocked. Xiao Yang walked out of the hall, his sword clean, his expression unchanged. He was met by his companions. The Saint Queen approached him first, her eyes searching his for any sign of injury. When she found none, she pulled him into a deep, passionate embrace, her lips meeting his in a victory that was both physical and spiritual. The other women, Feng Xuan, the Hehuan founder, and the Yaoguang saintess surrounded him, their presence a testament to his total conquest of the world. "It is over," the Yaoguang saintess whispered, her hand resting on his arm. "The northern border is purged." Xiao Yang looked out over the horizon. He saw Jiang Ting sitting in the dirt, clutching a broken sword, her life a ruin of her own making. He felt no joy, only a profound, cold sense of completion. The debt of his first life was paid in full. The Holy Sun was dead, the sect master was ash, and the brother was a vegetable. "Not yet," Xiao Yang replied, his gaze turning toward the distant spires of the immortal sect. "There is still a mother to rescue, and a god to kill." He turned to the Saint Queen, his voice softening for the first time. "Are you ready? The walk to the celestial gate will be long," she smiled, a radiant, mature expression of absolute devotion. "I have already walked through fire for you, Xiao Yang. The heavens will be a stroll in the park. They ascended together, 5 streaks of light heading south, leaving the northern border behind. Behind them, the ruins of the Qing-Yang sword sect stood as a warning to all who would sacrifice their soul for a hollow throne. The 6th arc ended with the rising of a new sun, not just for the northern border, but for Xiaoyang himself. He was no longer a man of revenge. He was a man of destiny, a progenitor of a new world, and the true journey was only just beginning. As they flew toward the heart of Middle-earth, the air was alive with the scent of rebirth and the promise of a magnificent, brutal future. The gods were waiting, and Xiaoyang was coming to collect.